Graham, coming to you, we've certainly talked about kind of research that you've seen part of previously around seeing a lot more customer uptake of customer interest in that kind of sovereignty angle and working out what to deploy their data. What kind of insights do you think from that? What kind of customers have you seen like really taking interest in that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's very much like if you had to kind of cherry pick two sectors, public sector, naturally, financial services, I think heavily regulated, probably telco would be the next one after that. I mean, I certainly think, for us, it's not, digital sovereignty is not a, just a new buzzword that is out there that's going to fade away. I think the discussions we just had around, what's happening in Ukraine, global inflation, I think it's really reset the minds of CEOs across Europe really around the importance of this. And we worked with the analysts quite a bit last year just to try and really find out, where should we, who should we be speaking to, and what sort of messages do we think will resonate. And what was interesting was I took some notes here. I think 75% of organisations in Europe said that digital sovereignty is now more important because of what's been going on in the world, and 80% of CEOs in a analyst study with, I think it was IDC last year, towards the end of last year, also it's their top priority now. So this is, when 80% of CEOs are ranking it as their top priority, it's serious. And I think where we're going to see a lot of focus is around, and to the point that Stuart made, it is still an emerging topic, and digital sovereignty is not a defined term that there is any one answer for. Every software vendor out there is going to try and position their offerings and their solutions to be the best fit to achieve it. But really with digital sovereignty, it's not something you achieve. You're not ever going to get to a point where you get a certificate to say you've achieved digital sovereignty. It's going to be an ever-moving target, and it's going to be driven by the things things that happen in the world, policies and stuff that come from government. And I think a lot of what we're seeing now with customers is how do we set ourselves up in the best way that we can be flexible to adapt to the change that's coming. And if you look at what the biggest challenge that we saw, what the analysts picked out and what we're seeing with our customers is all around portability. How do we move data workloads from one infrastructure to another without disrupting our business? And what's the quickest and fastest way we can do that? And for a lot of organisations, you have monolithic applications. They're either baked into some proprietary technology. It's a real challenge for organisations to say, well, if we suddenly get told that the information we hold a grey and bury in one location now has to be moved out of that location somewhere else, how do we do that without disrupting our business? And that's where I think we're going to see a lot of focus is around, you might hear the term portability, reversibility. I think DORA in financial services was a good example of organisations being told you have to be able to exit infrastructure, and how do you do that? So that seems to be the biggest challenge, and it's something that I think everyone's going to be focused on. How can we support that in the best way?